Okay, so what we're gonna start is first I will explain the different ingredients that we're gonna be using. It's onions, tomatoes, garlic, olive oil. We have a beautiful stock here made out of lobster heads. Okay, we're gonna use artichokes and calamari. Why? Because calamari and chorizo goes very well together. It's a perfect marriage. Okay, so we're gonna start making a foundation on the Spanish cooking, which is called sofrito. Okay, so what we're gonna do first is we're gonna use not too much olive oil. We'll put it here. 1 tablespoon is enough because oil is gonna come out of the chorizo. Okay. Then just gotta make sure that the it's on. It's gonna go a little bit higher. We always want to have a perfect control on the heat. Okay, we don't want to burn anything, especially the garlic. Okay, so I think that's enough for the onion. Now meanwhile, we're gonna start cutting the chorizo, okay, which we're gonna use for the sofrito. Once again, always don't forget peeling the case. Don't surrender the chorizo. So we put on top of each other, kind of lengthwise cuts. Then we're gonna dice very fine. Remember that we want to taste the chorizo, but we don't want the paella to taste just like chorizo. We want all the ingredients to speak by itself. Okay, so I think that's enough for this. So we put inside. And we're gonna use a little, just a touch of oil, not too much, just a little more. When we are cooking, we don't want something that is very greasy at any time. Okay, meanwhile, what I'm gonna do is, like I said, we're gonna use calamari and we're gonna use artichokes. So I'm gonna kind of drain out the water on the artichokes. And we're gonna place them inside. Because we want to roast the artichoke. Okay, this is the moment when we're gonna put a little bit of garlic. See, and we can see already the aromas coming out of the chorizo. In this case, normally paella is made with paprika or pimiento choricero, so we omit that and we use chorizo instead. As chorizo is playing a very important role these days in the United States. So now we proceed with the artichokes. We're gonna raise the flame a little more. Okay, and we put the tomato too. That's probably enough. So we can see how the smell, like I said before, the chorizo is coming out of the pan. Okay, we kind of lower this a little bit. This is the time to use a little more oil. Oil always as we go along on the recipe, because we don't want something very greasy. Okay, then it's gonna be too much for the stomach to digest. Okay, now is the time to put the calamari inside. Calamari is a very special ingredient. Either you cook the calamari very little or you cook for a long time. Okay, so if you cook it for a long time, there's no problem with it. I think that's enough. We'll raise the heat a little more. And at this point, we'll season with a little bit of the salt. So now we can see how the smell is coming beautiful. Now we lower a little bit. We season with a little salt, not too much. This is the time to put the saffron, very expensive. Saffron, you have to be very, very, very careful. We are using chorizo, so if you put too much, it will taste like medicine. So we have to put just the touch, which I already put a little saffron here on the stock. But we want the saffron to roast too. There's more flavor every time we roast ingredients. Okay, so this is the time where we are going to be measuring the rice that is going to go inside of the paella. For this particular kind of rice, which is a bomba, normally it's 3 times 1, okay, but sometimes it's 4 times 1. So we will measure like this, almost like a ladle full, okay? And we always want to fry the rice for 2 reasons. One, it will speed up the process of cooking. 2, it will become crunchy. Okay, otherwise we will have a very soggy rice. Okay. I think we're gonna go with everything. So we put 2, so we are gonna need to put 6 ladles of stock. And now is the time to beautiful cook the grain of the rice. Use actually a little more oil. Until we see that the grain is becoming a little bit dark. See, at this point, you can see how everything is coming. Very easy recipe. So don't try to make paella with water. You always have to add a flavor to it. Okay, so I think this is time to add the stock. We're gonna lower this a little bit. So we're gonna start with 6. Okay, remember that we put 2 ladles of rice. So we're going to start using 3 per each, so we're going to go 6. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, this is the time where everything is already together. This is also, which I call the time of the chef. It's the time to really taste what's the flavor inside for adjusting the seasoning, which is the salt. I think we are okay. Just a touch more. Not much though. Okay, so we have pretty much the recipe ready to go. We're going to allow the cooking time here approximately for 5 to 7 minutes, at the most 10 minutes, and then we're going to finish this beautiful dish in the oven. Okay, so at this point we have the paella ready and it's going to go into the oven. So what we're going to do, since we have a paella pan that handles are made of plastic, so we're going to cover them with aluminum paper, or foil paper. So we grab that, and we'll cut 1 piece for each of the handles, and cover that. If we have a pan that is made out of iron, we don't need to do that. So in this case, we do, because it's going to go with the heat and the plastic will melt. Okay? So this is the reason why we are doing this. Okay, so now we are ready just to put the paella in the oven. So here we have, the paella just came out of the oven. As you can see, it's ready to go. It's been resting approximately for 3-4 minutes to allow the rice to finish to cook. And I think it's time to on it. So thank you very much. And here is the final recipe for the paella.